A very good evening to you, esteemed viewer. We welcome you to Family Hour here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Today is a Friday, and of course, here we are with our Friday edition of the Family Hour. Edrine Mukalazi is my name on behalf of Claire Bwenje, who will join in next time. And of course, today being Friday, we are talking about parenting. Today, we have an interesting topic. Now that we know our children are back home, we are dealing with adolescents, and very many parents are really struggling with adolescents. The biggest problem is because we lack the bond, and so you never know what is happening in the life of your child because they can't even open up to you. You've not created an environment for them to open up to you, to share with them, to create that intimate bond. Now, today, we are looking at how you can create that bond with your adolescent child. And of course, with us is a person of very many talents. He's commonly known as Dr. Love, but he's a man of very many talents, a journalist, a counselor, an author. I mean, he's an entrepreneur. You're a man of very many talents.
Yes, I put on many hats. Yes, thank you so much for hosting me. I'm called Hillary Joseph Bainemigisha. And thank you for this show on the family, because parents want to take parenting as a matter of course. Yeah, like the way we come into the world without a manual of how to live, and then we live and die. Yeah, you can do parenting like that, but you want to be an impactful, effective parenting.
Okay.
So for us who have been there, I've been a parent for 35 years.
35 years.
I have been an adolescent also. I have studied psychology, psychology of adolescents. I know the biology, the psych, and the socialization of adolescents. So I think, yes, I can bring value, and I can give you competent advice that you can try at home, because handling adolescents is harder than we expect it to be.
Sure. And you know, we look back at the days when we were also adolescents. We are not so easy.
And yes, and we thought our parents were the ones who are in the wrong.
Exactly.
Who are refusing to let us be. And you know, eventually, adolescents win if we are looking at a resistance versus a demand for independence. But as a parent, you are older, you are wiser, you have a better emotional intelligence. So when you look at the struggle of adolescents as a win or lose scenario, you will make mistakes. Many times as parents, you need to let your child win, but in a way that will build the child. We keep the sight on the ultimate goal. You want your adolescent to adjust to adulthood in a proper way. You want your adolescent to be useful to himself or herself and the society in which they are going to be. You want your adolescent to avoid the mistakes, that the comparison from within. Because while the adolescent is fighting you for independence, he's also fighting his own body. The body is swaying him into the raw demands for sex, for fun, for, if he's a man, domination of others, which might include fighting, which might include many other forms of aggression. And if it is a woman, the body might maybe make her too fat, big breasts, and then they are uncomfortable in their own skins, or make her look so beautiful that they get too grounded in their own pride. So all these things, as a parent, you need to see and help the adolescent manage.
It's unfortunate that actually this is a point where parents tend to shy away from their children. But also children keep on saying, Mom doesn't understand me. Dad doesn't understand me. And they keep pushing that, and as a result, they choose to deassociate.
And unfortunately, it's true. Dad, mom do not understand.
Yeah.
That is why I wrote a book about love. And one chapter I was trying to explain to parents how to understand the adolescent. You see, let me bring it like this. I'm going to be philosophical because for me, my communication is using similes.
Yeah.
Look at a housefly. At an adult, it's a housefly. But it used to be an egg. At an egg, it's a housefly, but in a different form. From egg, it goes to a larva. It's a housefly, but in a different form. From larva, it goes to pupa. It's a housefly in a different form. Then it becomes an adult housefly. It's called metamorphosis. So the metamorphosis of a housefly takes it in 4 different stages. And at every stage, there are new characteristics, new scenarios, new modus operandi, new strategies, new tactics of survival. At an egg, it is brittle. Let us look at parenting in that metamorphosis. When your child is a baby, that's an egg. They are brittle. They can break. They can't exist on their own. They need protection from birds, from insects, from snakes, because those eggs are food for these things. So as a parent, the way you handle your baby is the same way you handle an egg. The tactics are different. The perceptions are different. The aims are different. When they become toddlers, they go to larva. You are no longer as anxious about the egg as you are about the larva.
Yeah.
The larva can fall without breaking. The larva can hide itself from enemies. An egg can't. You see the similes. Now let's say you are at pupa. The toddler is an adolescent. But you want to handle the pupa as if it was a larva. You have not changed. The way you changed when the egg became larva, why can't you change when the larva becomes pupa? Because now we are in a different scenario. It is still your child, but now you are a different child. So it is a border between childhood and adulthood. So, first of all, understand that the child is yearning for independence. But you don't think the child is ready for independence. So that's a clash. So how do you manage it? You who is wiser, who has an emotional intelligence, how do you guide? Because our traditional setup compels us into an easy way of violence, of threats. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take you out of school. I'm going to chase you out of home. Some parents take their kids in.
And there you're a true African parent. When you
even now, there is an instinct. You are looking at your child as a baby, the work of your hands. You want it to be the baby, but the child is starting to look at himself as an adult in his own right, in her own right.
In your home.
In your home. And then it doesn't matter when you say, I give birth to you. Yeah, you are. That's your work. Me, I didn't ask you to do. You know, the way they reason and the way you reason are totally different. They are parallel. So you cannot bring reasoning. The biggest strategy, dear parents, is to put yourself in the shoes of the adolescent. Swallow the pride of being the leader, the boss. And secondly, you have ever been an adolescent. But in history, our adolescence was under tough police-like parenting. Army, like red tear gas was always available. But now can you bring out that tear gas? Do you know that you're adolescent? You can lose your adolescence. Losing can even be physical. The adolescent can die in the process of struggling for his independence or her independence. They can get pregnant. They can get HIV. They can become addicts. They can harm themselves. These are things which are the direct results of direct confrontation. You as a parent, the child, because if they are boys, that's the peak of their testosterone control. Testosterone is a hormone, which is an aggression hormone, and it's a lot in men. It guides men basically in what men will do. Men evolve and grow into aggressive features, competing against each other, trying to dominate each other. And at adolescence, it is flooding the blood. So the person's control, sometimes you start thinking, your friends are confusing you, but they can be kumubuzabuza, but internally, in the body, in the brain, the person is also, the body, the brain is convincing him to take that direction. Time has come. It's just like no mother can say, my baby in the stomach, in the womb, it's 9 months, but I don't have money, stay there for 1 month. No, the baby will come whether you have money or not. So the adolescent will rebel, whether you are a tough parent, whether you are a religious parent, whether you are an army commander, a general, or whatever.
So what happens?
The extent depends on your reaction. So now, I want this show to be about parents. How do we react to a rebellious child in order to minimize the consequences and harvest a grown-up successfully?
Starting from communication, that is one of the challenges that you realize there is a communication gap between parents and adolescents. And sometimes, as a trait of adolescence, the children become a little more reserved. They don't want to open up a lot to their parents, probably alluding to what you said, that the parents don't understand, seem not to understand. We assume that they understand, but they don't want to believe that they understand what they are going through. But how can you harmonize, what strategies can you create to harmonize the communication issue?
Communication is a key issue in everything. Now, when we look at parenting, it's a mistake to try and start it on adolescents. Adolescents, you need to start it earlier. By the age, we are talking about January 13, teenagers, but adolescence starts coming now at 10 because these kids now grow very fast. But the way you started at 4, 5, 6 years matters a lot in the success of you being a friend to your adolescents. At the age of a toddler, a child looks to you as a god. You are infallible. Whatever you say is right. If you say don't, they will not. But when they start becoming adolescents, they start seeing that no, you are too old to advise me. This is a new world you have no idea about.
You're analog, we are .com.
Yes. Other people are falling in love and you're telling me it's bad. You want me to live in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s. You get it? So they start thinking, no, you don't know. So how then you can no longer be the god, the policeman, the judge. You can, to some extent, but not in the same way as you've been when the kid was 4, 5, 6, 7. So communication starts at that level by not being the traditional parent who was a judge and policeman raising a club to beat whenever the child makes a mistake, but become a friend of your child. These days, our context is that kids go to school, and we parents go to work. The convergence in the evening is where the kid is tired, you are also tired. Even when a kid tries to tell you what's at school, you are too tired to listen. After all, there is news. You want to watch football, you want to watch news, and then weekend, Saturday is now a working day. Sunday, you are hurrying them to church. You go to church. They are on their own. After church, you go to visit friends. So there is no companionship. Now, the strategy, especially for parents who still have children, That kid you see very obedient, very hardworking, very impressive. You wait. At 11, suddenly you will not understand what has come into your child. So don't wait to be surprised. Start now. Make your kid your friend. Find time to ask them, how was school? What did the teacher say? Even if they are giving you straight, short answers, probe. Who is your best friend? What did you learn today? You see, when a kid is narrating what they learned today, they are revising. They are cementing what they learned. And it is etching on their brains, and they don't have to study it. Contribute also what you know. If there are developments, the teachers will tell them, but you should also allow you to tell them. Yesterday was Labor Day. What does it mean? Who are the workers? Why should we celebrate it? We are going to Uganda Matters. Who are they? We've just finished Easter. Explain how the concept of a dying Jesus and resurrected Jesus. We leave it to teachers, but even if teachers find out what did the teacher tell you about Jesus, so that you can add your own. So when if he's a boy, I'll be interested in football, in running around. Boys are active. Run around with them, play football, let them beat you, let them brag around. I beat Daddy 5-1, those things. You become friends. When you're traveling in a car, the traditional parent was sit together, don't talk. No, let it be a conversation. When dad is around and when mom is around, let it be family. When it comes to prayer time, allow them to lead prayers in the way they know, depending on their age. And thereafter, let that prayer suffice. But after that, you say, you should have said this, you should have said this, or approached it like this. Let them learn. Give them opportunity to express themselves and show gratitude. Prompt their self-esteem. Say, you are so good. Even when they are not, you are good. But you can be better. When guide what they watch on TV, they will be interested in cartoons. Explain cartoon characters. Lead them to love certain cartoons. Be in their lives. So when they are now in S1, P7, S2, they are starting to be fed up with being children, being told what to do. They want to do what they want. Now, hormones come in, and hormones, I think, are the biggest challenge that parents need to understand. I'm going to give you an example. A young girl who has been hardworking, although you're well obedient, and you have taken her to school. Suddenly, a boy or a man comes and says, I love you. And they start believing that this boy has better intentions for them than you, the parent. That your parent, you don't want her to be happy. You are the enemy. In fact, they are willing to sacrifice you and go with the boy. Of course, as a parent, you know that the boy is also looking for his own fun, and if you let her go, the boy will run away in a few minutes, in a few days. But the girl can't. She's believing that her entire life and happiness depends on this stranger they just met. But you has been with this girl for 13 years or 14. You are now the enemy. You are now who don't understand her. You are now who doesn't understand her. You are now who doesn't want her to be happy. You can be sacrificed. So when you put it in the field of logic, you can think the girl is mad. So a reaction of a parent who is not in the know is to use force. I'm going to remind you an unfortunate incident that happened in February. Yes. A girl set herself on fire because her parents were changing her from a school where her boyfriend was. So she said, to a
single-sex school.
She says, I'd rather die. She set herself on fire. They took her to hospital. She died in hospital. Now, of course, we blame the girl, we blame whatever, but I also blame the parents. An adolescent is not logical. Does not understand, analyze things the way you are. So, put on their shoes. Know that in logic, no one defeats a parent in wanting the best for the child. That's logic, that's reason. But in the adolescent's mind, that's not true. The parent is the enemy.
It's a fallacy.
The parent is the one who doesn't want him to be happy or to be an adult or to be what other people are. And the parent is probably jealous. You get it? So if you understand that how he thinks, be in his shoes. So explain to them that yes, it's good to be independent, but you don't jump. The higher you jump, the bigger the fall. You need to do it piecemeal. Out there, the reason actually, give the reason why you are not comfortable with your son or daughter going to dance up to midnight. Out there are certain evils which you cannot control on your own. You can be mugged, you can be killed, you can be too many things. So that the protection, whatever you're doing to the adolescent, keep them as your friend. If you have developed the friendly communication up to that level, keep it up. Even when they are abusive, take it in. Those are muliro. Do not be like them.
Ceasefire.
Hey, they are very sensitive. Mind the words you use on them. Be on their side. Okay, pretend. You see, emotional intelligence means learn the emotions of the person you are handling and be sensitive to them. So, pretend you understand them, you support them, then they will think you are on their side, and it will be easy for them not to be resistant, and that way you'll move on.
Okay. Now, this is really interesting. You talked about emotional intelligence. We also understand that at this time, these adolescents' emotions are funny. They have a lot of mood swing. They smile in the next 5 minutes. They're already causing commotions. They're already going somewhere to cry. And then, so how can a parent survive as a parent, but also guide this child, especially in such moments?
Okay, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, he's an author, a Kenyan author, said, you cannot kill or catch a butterfly unless you know how it flies. Because a butterfly, I don't know if you know it.
Yes.
Now we have city-born people who only read about butterflies. Yes. But the butterfly does not. For us, we think it doesn't fly in a straight line.
Yes.
For it knows how it flies, and that's how it. So for it to catch it, you must first understand the pattern. There must be a logic, the formula. So in management, you need to understand in order to predict, in order to manage, in order to control. The basic, the default strategy is understand. Then you can predict what will happen. Then you will be ready to manage when it happens. Then you'll be able to control. Usually things which surprise us, ambush, those things, they are difficult to react to because there is that adjustment time. But once you predict, the first strategy in handling such people is to know that it will happen. Just the knowledge that it will happen, so that when it happens, you are not surprised. That is actually emotional intelligence, to predict the way things will happen. You can predict and they don't happen like that, but being ready, they say in Sanafu agenda, any time I can get an enemy. Become that in Sanafu. Now, secondly, we say they are erratic. mood swings and what. But there is always a cause. When you are here trying to be the boss and not understanding, you will not see the cause. The cause is always there. And then over time with your adolescent, you will know which causes make them in mood swings, especially feminines. Now, girls also start their menstruation during that time. And their menstruation times releases certain hormones, which make them even extra sensitive. If you comment, if she thinks her because there are girls who grow up very beautifully, but in adolescence, suddenly she gets big breasts, she gets amorphous. If you start saying, now you are becoming like a maggot. Maybe you're right, but do you have to say it? It's your fault after all. You are not letting the kid exercise, you are not letting the kid eat well, but you're coming to blame the kid for the morphology that they have. That statement is like a bullet in the heart. First of all, you're killing her self-esteem. If her friends are getting men who are hitting on them and she is not, she will quickly say, Wama, I'm ugly. And ugly makes her desperate and antisocial. It even makes her vulnerable. The first man to say, I love you, she will say, if this one goes, I will not get another. She will succumb. You need to make your child proud of who they are, regardless of what you think. Because out there, their peers are not saying the same thing. Their peers, especially boys, are trying to put each other down. Boys are in competition mode. That is the testosterone. Girls are in caucusing mode. They are having friends who like each other. But even this caucus is competing with another girl's caucus. So there is also inter-caucus competition. So that competition is heightened in adolescence. Now, as a parent, you get that competition, for example, and make it your strategy. Encourage your boy to compete. Encourage your girl to compete. But not in terms of who can smoke more, who can drink more bottles, who can fight harder. No. You show that actually winning at, for example, mathematics, knowing mathematics, knowing the current affairs, knowing who is the president of this, who is the prime minister of this, what's the capital of this. Bring these competitions with your boy and let him win. Go contest. What is the currency of Nigeria? What is the currency of South Africa? Let him win. Let him go make research. You, even when you know, lose call. Let him feel they know.
So they can brag.
Because competition makes self-esteem. We are looking at how do you make your child have self-esteem that will make them resist the temptation of adolescence.
Dr. Love, we are taking a short commercial break. When we return, we want to start from there. This is an interesting conversation. I believe a parent out there, there's a lot that you are picking out of this. We are coming back shortly.